Welcome to Commander Tilt. My name is Clark. Just a little bit about my channel. I build custom Commander decks and Magic the Gathering decks and play them against themselves, hoping to find synergies and interesting gameplay. This series is about Rush. Rush is a 30-card format that has 10 life, 30 cards, and you draw 5 cards each turn. At the end of your turn, at the start of your next turn, you put your entire hand at the bottom of your deck and draw 5 brand new cards. The bracket style format that I play allows the decks to play against themselves with the hope of finding out the winner, the very best deck. And another thing I like to point out is that I've watched too many channels where you can't really see the cards. So one of the anchor tenets of my channel is I like to have the cards really big on the screen so that you can see them well. Now, the decks I'm playing today is Black versus White. As I said in my last video, Black is a Deathtouch deck, and the White deck is about life gain. In specific, Lifelink is very heavily featured, and there's a couple of flyers as well. So it should be an interesting battle. I'd like to point out right now that I recorded 2 battles. I did 2 games. And the recording on the second game failed. And when I say the recording failed, it was 100% my fault. I paused the video so that I could try to look up a rules interpretation. And then when I came back, I forgot to unpause the video, so I didn't record the end of the game. But the same deck won both battles, and they were both kind of slogs. They took a long time, so I thought, well, I'll just take the first one and do it. So the winner of this one won the actual Tilt bracket tournament, but there's only going to be 1 game. So when you watch this battle, there's only 1 game, and that's the winner of the round. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, to get started, I roll some dice. Oh, I got a tie. Let's roll dice again. 11 versus 20. White wins. White will put down a plains, and then tapping it, White will play Light of Hope, choosing to gain 4 life. White will pass the turn. Black will put down a swamp, and then tapping the swamp, we're going to play Pulse Tracker, and then we'll pass the turn. White will untap. White will put down its second plains, and then tapping that single plains, we're going to play Healer's Hawk and pass the turn. Black will untap. Black's going to put down a second swamp. Next, we're going to tap that swamp and play Hired Poisoner. Moving to combat, we'll swing with the Pulse Tracker. White will block with the Healer's Hawk. Healer's Hawk's lifelink gains a life. Pulse Tracker's triggered ability loses a life, and then the creatures trade. Black will pass the turn. White gets to untap. White will put down its third plains and pass the turn with no plays. Black will put down a swamp. Next, Black's going to tap 2 mana for Butcher Ghoul. Moving to combat, will swing with the Hired Poisoner. White will play Healing Grace, preventing the next 3 damage from that creature, and then gaining 3 life. Black will pass the turn. White will untap, and then we'll put down our 4th plains. We're going to tap all 4 mana for Seraph of Dawn, a 2/4 flying lifelink creature. It's an angel. Black will untap, and then Black's going to tap 3 mana for Vampire Nighthawk, a flying Deathtouch lifelink 2/3 creature. Then it's going to tap its remaining mana for Death Ward or Death Watch and put it on the Seraph. Moving to combat, we're going to swing with both available creatures. Only does 2 damage. White chooses not to block. White's going to untap. White will put down a land, a plains, and then it's tapping 2 mana, put down Suture Priest, and then tapping 2 mana, put down Split Tail Miko, which gains us a life because of the Suture Priest trigger. We'll pass the turn. Black will tap 1 mana for Serrated Scorpion. Suture Priest causes him to lose a life. Next, we're going to move to combat and swing with the Vampire Nighthawk and the Hired Poisoner. White chooses not to block. White will untap. White will put down another plains. And then we're going to tap all the mana for Valkyrie Harbinger. Suture Priest gains us a life, and next we'll swing with the 2/4 flyer, and with no blockers. Black loses 2 life, and white gains 2 life. Black will untap. Black will put down a swamp. Next, Black's going to play Fatal Push, and we're going to kill the Suture Priest. Then we're going to tap 2 more mana for Karsi Sadist, and we're going to exploit the Serrated Scorpion, causing 4 damage and 4 life gain. But white taps the Split Tail Miko, defending 2 of those life. White will put down a Plains. Next, white's going to play Gird for Battle. That allows us to put a +1/+1 counter on each of our angels. Next, we're going to swing with the 2 angels. Black will block with the Vampire Nighthawk on the 5/6 flyer. Split Tail Miko will tap to stop the 2 damage from the Deathtoucher, so doing 0 damage, Deathtouch doesn't happen. Then I take a bunch of life gain from 8 Lifelinkers, and because we gained 8 life, we gain an angel from the Valkyrie trigger. Black will tap 3 mana for Vampire Nighthawk, the second one, and then moving to combat, we'll swing with all 3 creatures that we have available. White will tap a single mana for Pollen Remedy and then sacrifice a land for the kicker trigger, so none of those 3 creatures take damage, and I gain 6 life. Black will pass the turn. White will untap. I forgot that angel trigger, so that's an edited in angel. You'll see in combat I forget to swing it. White taps for Basri Acolyte, pumping our angels again. Moving to combat, we're going to swing with the angels and then tap a single mana for Brave the Elements, choosing protection from black. Now I forgot that it protects all my creatures, so I allowed Vampire Nighthawk to block. I used the Split Tail Miko to remove the damage from Vampire Nighthawk, so then Vampire Nighthawk dies, but none of that interaction should have happened, and right now white should have won the game, even with the messed up life from the Vampire Nighthawk doing Lifelink on that attack. But since I didn't realize that, I went ahead and played a little longer. White taps 1 for Healer's Hawk, and then we gain another angel that I forgot to put a trigger for, so now white has 2 giant angel flyers. Black's going to tap 2 mana for Karsi Sadist, and exploiting it, kill the Butcher Ghoul, but then the Butcher Ghoul's trigger allows it to come back to the game with a +1/+1 counter on it. Next, we're going to tap the mana for Tragic Slip, killing the angel that has that trigger on it. So then Deathwatch triggers, and I didn't know if it was going to take the -13 life, so I just went with the bigger total, and so there was a big life swing there. Next, we're going to tap the mana for Smother, killing the Split Tail Miko. And then black will pass the turn. Again, white should have already won at this point. So we're going to go ahead and swing with all 2 flyers. They have no flying defense, but then I'll tap the mana for Arrestor Zeal, pumping that 1 angel 2 more, and that does 9 damage, which is enough for lethal the second time. And with that, white wins the game. So I feel a little bad that I lost the second recording, partially because the ending was a little bit different than any other ending I've had. You know, the game lasted a really long time, and both decks ended up drawing their very last card in the last round. Now, I learned that you actually can't mill somebody out in Rush because of the way the format is. You discard your hand, then draw 5 cards. And so you even if you discard, even if you have a hand of, say, like 3 cards or 2 cards, you can still discard your hand to the bottom of your deck and then draw your first card, and then the others you just fill your hand up. It's not a draw, so it doesn't mill you out. So the only way to mill somebody out in Rush would be if the opponent had to discard cards, and so you discard it down to 0 cards in your hand. So, in the last couple of turns, I just didn't cast anything. I didn't play any lands, and I didn't cast any spells so that I wouldn't mill myself out. But the other part, and the other reason why I was kind of sad that I lost the recording, that the final score was something like 58 life for white and negative 30 life for black. That last couple of turns was such a huge swing. I mean, white had kept going up and up and up, but that last turn, white really turned it on and had like a huge hit to drop black so low. So it was kind of a cool ending, and it's a pity I lost it. The next battle I'm going to feature is certainly going to be Jund versus Red. And with that, I'm out of here. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I do have a Patreon page, and I would love it if you would visit my page and take a look at the rewards that are available. It would help me out a lot. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you hear about my latest videos. Have a great day.